Welcome to the Empowered Soul Podcast, a cozy audio nest of soulful musings and heart-made creations. If you're a mystical soul craving connection and inspiration, you've found your flock. Hi, I am MC Mama Bird, a mama, artist, soul regression therapist in training, and longtime yoga and meditation guide, sharing stories, conversations, and everyday magic for your soul and your family. Now take a deep breath and stretch your wings wide to enjoy the ride. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to part 2 of our Sacred Sites journey through England. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I highly recommend starting there first. In it, I share the story of preparing for this huge pilgrimage, traveling through London, Avebury stone circles, and Stonehenge and the beautiful Glastonbury, and some of the unexpected lessons that emerged along the whole way. As I listened back to part 1, I felt really inspired. I want to create a companion photo journal to accompany this 2-part series. If you'd like to see those landscapes and travel with us along in these sacred sites and all our special moments from our trip through England, please come visit our website. And that would be healtruelove.com/blog. And in there, you can sign up to be notified as soon as I publish my illustrated journal. I'm also feeling really called to create a short travel film for the Yoga Garden Online YouTube channel. Now, this project really may take a little bit of time to unfold, but I'd love for you to subscribe and join me when it's ready. In the meantime, you can also follow our travels, behind-the-scenes moments, all our little updates that sometimes I make on a daily basis or weekly in our Instagram. And our Instagram account is healtruelove. Now today, we're going to continue on this adventure into Cornwall, Tintagel Castle, and the beautiful St Ives. We're also going to be exploring what happened after this journey. Because sometimes the deepest teachings truly don't arrive while we are moving around and traveling. Sometimes they arrive once we come home. We nestle back in. We have time to contemplate and look back, just seeing how everything came together, seeing the threads that connect the journey, and then discovering gently how all of these experiences are teaching us, inviting us to live, moving forward with all the fullness, more gratitude, and especially discernment. That was a huge one for me in this trip. My teacher Ash is all about truth, discernment, purity, and cleansing, detoxing from the modern matrix mind. And it really put it forward for me as to where I should put my focus on and what my contributions to the world are truly all about as I go deeper and deeper into my soul, aligning and cleansing my mind and my ego. So in this episode, let's explore a little more. Let's explore that tending to our inner world through integration is actually our sacred work. Let's also reflect on the summer solstice, the universal 7-month that we are in June, Cancer season, and Hooray for celebrating the 1 year of the Empowered Soul podcast. Yay! Make sure you stick around until the end because this is a celebration of you, special you. All along, I will also share a little bit more about my graduation from the academic portion of my past life and between lives soul regression training. And at the very end, some also exciting creating projects that are brewing and beginning to bloom for us. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's continue this journey together. As for me, I am having a English black tea. One of my favorite kinds of teas is the English and the Irish black tea. So good. And such a perfect companion for the theme that we're exploring now. So we then made our way to Cornwall after Glastonbury. This was one of the most beautiful drives ever in the entire pilgrimage. The scenery just was changing right in front of our eyes. A place that was only alive in our dreams. I had no idea that England was so incredibly green. I mean, I knew it rained a lot there, but it's a whole other thing when you're living through it. There were gentle feminine hills rolling across the countryside, like little pregnant bellies. And then wildflowers overflowing and every shade of green mixing in between them. For a country so significant in history, finance, and culture, I was surprised by the vastness of its countryside. There was a lot of space between people, and a lot of sheep that peacefully grazed the hillsides, fields of crops, stretching all the way into the distance, and storybook villages appeared, one after another. I kid you not. I felt like I was turning the pages on the Hobbit book, reminding me that beneath England's bustling cities lives a landscape that still feels so ancient, like walking in history, deeply rooted in the rhythms of nature. Think Brian Froud and all his pictures and stories of fairies and the kingdom of the Fae. That's what it felt like many times as we drove from one little town until the next. We visited Tintagel Castle, and these are the words from my teacher. During the 5th to 7th centuries, the island fortress of Tintagel was the stronghold of post-Roman Cornish rulers. Memories of Tintagel's past glories inspired many legends, and in the 12th century, Geoffrey of Monmouth wrote that King Arthur was conceived here. The castle's atmospheric ruins stand partly on the mainland and partly on the island. In medieval times, the two halves were connected by a bridge. This was another powerful activation, and each of us experienced moments of connection with the powerful winds, the rhythmic forces of the ocean below, the ancient stone ruins, and all the little wildflowers that seem to bloom just everywhere, like freckles on somebody's face, and the birds that would just fly all above us and surround us once again. They were brightening the landscape. The colors were amazing, breathtaking truly. The ever-changing skies, soft, big, puffy clouds, seamless blending of deep blues, turquoise waters, and emerald greens with some foam on top. as the waves crashed into the very strong boulders of the shoreline. Everything was stretching across this beautiful, magical, and mystical coastline. The castle ruins themselves stood quietly along the dramatic cliffs. They were weathered stone walls, and they whispered stories of centuries long past. Though much of the fortress has really been surrendered to time and corrosion and erosion, the fragments of towers, archways, some foundations, crumbling walls still remain, and they invite and provoke our imagination to wander through all the lives, the legends, the horses, the maidens, the knights, the full history that once held within them. From my teacher's perspective, strong power lines would intersect at all these magical sacred sites that we visited, and in each one of them, we would do our activation work. From Stonehenge to Glastonbury Abbey, St. Margaret's Chapel, Glastonbury Tor to Tintagel, we were connecting with the heart chakra of England. To fully experience this castle, you have to cross an amazing, spectacular, and sometimes daunting if you look down below, suspension bridge. It was super high above the crashing ocean below, and the wind was just so strong. That bridge connects the mainland to the headland where the ruins rest. Looking down below, the rugged shoreline, it would reveal hidden caves carved into the cliffs, including the mysterious cave where, according to Arthurian legend, Merlin is said to have brought the infant King Arthur to be raised there. Now, this could be history and myth, or something beautifully woven between the two. But this entire landscape, this beautiful, picturesque scenery, was enchanted with ancient stories that still lingered in the winds. The town itself is so adorable, with little stone cottages nestled side by side that reminded me of truly hobbit homes. Some were businesses with cute ocean trinkets and seashells, and others were quaint bakeries. And they offered this traditional Cornish pastry called pasties, and they were stuffed with cheese, onion, vegetables, or ham. And they are huge. I mean, they were like 2 hands together in terms of length. One of those, very affordable, could fill you up for your whole afternoon before dinner. And all of this unfolded against the breathtaking backdrop of the dramatic cliffs, that strength of the Atlantic winds, and all about tiny droplets of moisture that just seemed to constantly dance around us through the air. This region of England lies in the southwestern tip of the island. It is so remote from the pace of everyday life and the hustle and bustle of London. London felt really far away. We felt like we turned the page backwards into a historical magical book. So being there was truly like stepping into a dream. Myth, history, nature, and the spirit of it, they just blended effortlessly to bring you into full magic. Now, surrounded by dramatic cliffs, endless ocean, and stories that echoed through the centuries, now it became really easy to understand why so many legends were born in this place. There was a timeless quality to this place. The boundary between what was visible to our eyes and invisible had just grown thinner. Our journey to Tintagel carried us through a lot of rain that would suddenly give way to sunshine once again, only for a few breaths later to return with a harsh downpour, and we were wondering, are we going to make it there on time to catch up with our group? The ever-changing weather made this whole landscape feel even more mystical, as we had stepped into one of those Arthurian legends themselves. In every sacred site, our teacher Ash guided us through very powerful activation ceremonies. They were centered on clearing the pathways of communication, restoring truth and clarity on the planet, supporting a very deep harmony between ourselves and the living earth. As you can imagine, for many centuries and thousands of years, there have been wars, people killed, and greed upon many of these lands. What we were bringing there with our work was the restoration of harmony, peace, love, clarity, and an ascension that is so much needed for all of us to live in harmony and with peace. Within my own spiritual understanding, these ceremonies also carried the intention of extending way beyond our individual lives. We were touching the greater web of consciousness, the one that connects all of life, including our brothers and sisters, other dimensional beings, or beings that could be physical, but in other planets and parts of the universe or other universes beyond. Each activation really moved me profoundly and physically too. Back in Glastonbury at St. Margaret's Chapel, I experienced something like a profound inner detoxification, and it seemed to mirror the cold that my body was already processing. So like stuff was coming out of my body. It felt like layers of old beliefs, stories, fears, aspects of the ego and the mind were gently being released through the cold, also helping me physically detoxify my body. I was making space for a new way of living and perceiving through reality. At Tintagel, however, my lesson became more about trust. So we went from detoxification to trust. As my body began experiencing aches and discomforts, I realized I couldn't do very much while I was standing out there on this tiny island surrounded by the sea. They didn't have bathrooms, they didn't have places of refuge. But rather than resisting the experience or getting into fear mode, I just decided to go within, calm my nervous system, and praying quietly and asking my divine team and the ones that we were praying with through the ceremony with Ash to help me with strength and support so that I could remain present through the ceremony. I really wanted to stay there until the very end. And at many points, I just had doubts. I'm like, am I really going to be able to make it through this? That was teaching me a lot about trust and surrender. And I knew that if I was going to make it through that ceremony with ease, that I knew that I would know that my divine team had got my back, that they got me through that. And it would teach me once again that trust wasn't just this spiritual concept or experience. It was very physical too. deepening once again that lesson and layer of trust. By the time it was completed, the ceremony, I felt deeply held, profoundly grateful. I made it. Afterwards, I just quietly excused myself to take care of my body and walk and listen to the birds and come back home within myself, trusting that the integration was also going to continue long after the ceremony had ended. I really wanted to share this with my teacher, and I haven't had a moment to tell her just yet how profound this work was, not just spiritually and in my heart, but physically within my body too. How much of this work is actually moving through within you, very deep within you and your cells. Another sip of tea. So looking back now, I can't help but be in awe at the beautiful synchronicity of everything. First came the detoxification, then the release, then came trust. What a perfect reflection of inner work that was unfolding through this pilgrimage. Before something new can fully take root, we are often invited to lovingly declutter what no longer serves us. And once we have created that space, we are asked to trust what is now being planted within. And it's not just by your own doing. We're talking about working with higher frequencies and higher dimensional beings. By the end of our journey, I was feeling nourished, lighter, clearer, more confident, and simply said, just renewed. It was as though I had quietly stepped into a new chapter of myself, one that felt more grounded. I was feeling more present and more aligned with who I am becoming, which is also the more true version of myself. And then we drove once more until reaching St Ives, our final destination with our group. Now, our group continued on. They went on to so many other beautiful sacred sites in Scotland. I was able to see their pictures by following the conversations in the WhatsApp group. And it was breathtaking. It was so beautiful. There were parts of me that was like, oh my God, I wish I could be there. And my teacher reassured me, we took you to every gateway. You were part of the story. And that felt so good. It was as if I had been with them for some days now, and I felt very connected to the work and to them. I was really missing them, and I really wish I could have been there physically, but I felt reassured that in spirit, we were still together. But for us, this was plenty. We had a little kid that, believe it or not, he threw his tantrums. He had his moments and big emotions, just like a normal 3-year-old would. And everything was so new to us. This felt like this was just the right amount of time, energy, work, and investment for this one big first international trip together. But what it did do for us was open the doors for further work and travel in the future with our group. We now have a global community and friends in other continents. We have now friends in Japan, England, Spain, the US, Egypt, and we just can't wait to see our friends again. For some of us, we fell in love with one another. My son fell in love with my teacher's daughter. It was so adorable. Now, St Ives was breathtaking. All the little roads that went from our castle, Tregena Hotel, to the restaurant down below next to the ocean. On that walk, it felt like beautiful jungle of Mexico. The gardens were huge. The bird songs were so jungly. It just so harmonious and high-pitched and sing-songy. There were seabirds and forest birds singing together. It was the mash of the ocean with the garden lush forests of England. And then we were walking with our group as we trailed along these forests. We were spending precious moments together in heart-to-heart talks. And like I'll never forget walking back from the restaurant to our hotel with my teacher. And we were talking about the significance of grief in our lives and how it changes us. I savor these drops of inspiration, and they're still fueling me today as I am making the dream and sketching my projects again and ideas so that we can be together in the future. So, my dear friends, more will come from all of this as I distill these memories into insights. So this trip was full, but every step of the way, we felt guided, like the huge drive back from the southwestern tip of England all the way back to the other side towards Heathrow in order to catch our flight the next day. I remember planning that trip from home and feeling like, oh my God, this is going to be daunting. 5 to 6 hours in a car with my kiddo. We've never really done this before. And now that I think about it, I don't think we've actually been those many hours in a car trip with him. And usually he has so much energy and it's hard to keep him still, especially sitting strapped in a car seat. But we made it. We did it. The days that felt like were going to be the most challenging and daunting in the itinerary, actually we survived. We made a few stops along the way and at some coffee houses. My son, of course, would just run to the people that were sitting with their dogs. Oh yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention. One thing we loved about London and England in general is that many businesses, including food businesses, were so open for customers to bring their dogs along with them. So for us, that was heaven because we could say hi to people and especially their pooches. Oh my gosh. I could only wish that we could have that kind of rule in the US where your dogs could just come with you, including food places. Can you imagine? Oh, it sounds like heaven to me. Well, that was a major undertaking from the southwestern tip to Heathrow. And every step of the way, we were protected, including in the drives. Like sometimes I saw a few reckless drivers and I was like, oh my God. We totally were just like scooped up like an angel's wing right around our car. And we felt so grateful to have been able to drink from so many aspects of life in England, from the ordinary day-to-day situations and handling tantrums and big emotions and hunger and needing to take naps, to the timelines that were shifting with the very powerful inner work of my teacher, and all the in-betweens. That was pure magic. And I was really warned by some people about how vulnerable this must be with a child or traveling during conflicting times worldwide. And I heard and I listened, but I knew that if we kept our alignment to higher frequencies, that a lot of protection, magic, alignment, and beauty would unfold too. All in all, worth it. Now, do I feel like traveling anytime soon again with a little one? No, definitely not at all. I am truly in repair and rejuvenation mode right now, especially with integration after all this deep inner work. And I want to continue my studies online. And most importantly, I'm working towards my certification from my soul regression school so that I can become a past lives and between lives soul regressionist. I have a lot of work on my desk right now, and it's so exciting to me. Every morning I wake up like, ooh, what can be possible today? And it's all unfolding in every single moment of the day. But I do see a marvelous opportunity opening at some point next year for another retreat with our beautiful global community and teacher. In fact, I would love to create the intention, well, I've already set that intention, to travel once a year with our community, to re-meet, reunite, and explore, and most importantly, to continue the healing throughout the earth. There are visions of Australia, Japan, even here in the USA and some of the sacred sites. And it's all truly very exciting. And in the meantime, I have Zoom. I can continue my education and trainings with them. And that's really filling my cup for now. I feel very satisfied and very satiated, content, grateful, happy, and I can breathe and relax again from home, knowing that we made it safe, that my kiddos are healthy, that we continue to be healthy, and that we did it. And with all of this, it takes me a long time to get back in the full swing of things. Life has been full in the most beautiful and also ordinary ways. These past several weeks with my family in England on this whole sacred sites journey, it was calling to my heart for quite some time. It was the kind of stuff I dreamt about for years, watching documentaries about all these places. I mean, Stonehenge, like a mega point in my buckets list. And we prepared, we explored and spent time just figuring how we were going to make it from one point to the next. But it was all so beautiful and well invested time, because while we were there, we spent time with beloved new friends. Oh, and I even got to see an old friend of mine from 1992 when I lived in Perugia, Italy. My good old friend Mark from my teenage years, who was my pen pal all that time. And as, technology evolved, we had emails and we would exchange emails, and we've seen each other throughout the journey since then. But that would be, 26 plus 8, so that would be 34 years. One of my longest standing friends, and we got to have dinner with him in London. He took us out as he rode these green bikes that I think they're called Uber green bikes, but you can park them anywhere in the city, and through the app, hire one or pick one up and then ride it to your next destination. And you can also share your location with your friends, and you could see how your friend was getting closer to where you were standing for the meeting point. Man, that just really blew my mind. I guess I must live in South Dakota in a very small rural town because all this new modern stuff sometimes just goes whoop over my head. But I got to see my friend as well, and that was one of my highlights of the trip. Catching up with him, and now we have kids, and it was just really fun to, reminisce from old memories and celebrate our achievements and see each other once again, and having him meet my family, my husband and my son. It was so beautiful. We gathered so many memories. I know they will continue to unfold for years to come. I'm so grateful to all the forces, all the helpers and participants that were part of this journey. And that includes my spirit family, my mom, Toya, and Pixie, and more. So now we're home. We're back to parenting, school drop-offs and pickups, caring for our bodies, catching up on my laundry, organizing my closet. That's coming this weekend, and the garden. and all the little details that, well, are part of our lives. And as all of this settles back into normality, I'm making more time for the write-ups and the teachings and the downloads. So more will come through in these episodes as the journey unfolds. And stick around, because we can continue to dialogue with some of our most intimate forces within, like our goddess strength, that is a global calling for many of us. One of the things I love most about the spiritual path is that eventually we learn there is no separation between the sacred and the ordinary, because it all is sacred. One of the biggest messages that I received during my meditations with these sacred spots was that your initiation, your path, your calling, your sacred, your soul purposes are all right in front of you in the very moment that you inhabit, right where you are. Sometimes those deep teachings don't arrive in big ways with loud whistles. They arrive while we're washing the dishes, comforting our kids, healing ourselves, removing ourselves from that usual playlist and broken record thinking that actually separates us more than unites us in our minds, or while caring for our beloved animals, or simply when we're sitting quietly on our couch, taking a breath after a busy day and big, deep seasons. And as we are now in a summer solstice window, this is the perfect time to celebrate the meaningful milestones so far on this journey around the sun this year. I am sure you have yours too. So let's acknowledge together what has grown for all of us. And let's also acknowledge that as we talk about these things of seasons and astrology and numerology, let's acknowledge our Southern Hemisphere friends. They're having their winter solstice too. Perhaps their celebrations come from a quieter part within them. The winter is more internal growth, listening, deep listening. Whereas for us in the north, the summer solstice is more expressive, colorful, loud, external, vocal. Either way, wherever we are, let's celebrate what we have come to as a deeper understanding and as an expression in our lives. One of the biggest things that I want to celebrate with you in our family is that I recently completed the academic portion of my past lives and between lives soul regression training. It has been such a beautiful accomplishment and a very important step in my journey as a practitioner. I am so grateful for my teachers who actually have introduced me to some of my new teachers, for all my mentors and my fellow colleagues who have walked beside me on this path. And it's one in which we will continue to walk together, as now we are focusing on part 2, which is gaining the certification through practice, hands-on sessions. And also this month, we are celebrating our 1 year. Woohoo! And what a gift this has been. When I started this podcast, you guys, I simply wanted a place to just share reflections, tell stories. I love telling stories, and share healing practices that I know could help us all to evolve and grow and heal, from grounding to uplifting and reaching farther into the higher frequencies, all about healing conversations, soul-centered meditations. And I never imagined all the beautiful connections that would emerge from this space. So whether you're listening from the beginning or you just recently found us, thank you so much for being part of this community. I feel you. I am so happy that we are together here. Thank you from the depth of my heart. And just a year ago, it was just a little quiet inner calling, creating MC Mama Bird's Chirps, that then evolved into the Empowered Soul podcast, all from home, between motherhood, healing, grief, spiritual study, schoolwork, and the messy, beautiful chaos that life can be on a day-to-day basis. I even listen sometimes to some of my first creations, and I was like, whoa, how things have changed from the ease and comfort to now realizing that I have a few more props that are helping me with better sound quality. Everything was learning as I would go and grow. And now, as we celebrate this first year, the podcast has reached 71 countries, you guys, 271 cities, and well over 2,200 downloads, with over more than 20 listening platforms around the world. And the truth is this, all of this came from teaching myself everything as I went along. There are so many great demos, newsletters, and forums, and at your fingertips schooling that is not too complicated in order to help you create your own podcast from home with a laptop or phone. Everything is possible, from the recording, the editing, the artwork, the website, uploads, and I think the biggest one was the courage to begin. And it wasn't about being perfect or until I have this degree and I feel like I am good enough or professional to do this. It didn't come from that place. It just came from this desire to do something, to speak up, to share my voice, to honor that all of us already are more than enough and have a deep amount of wisdom. It takes so much courage to live daily, let alone all the years of accumulated wisdom. Just step by step, some devotion, definitely a growing curiosity, and a willingness to keep learning. And to trust that you will be taught everything that you need to know in order to carry through. Learning from what we call mistakes. As you know, they're not really mistakes. They are our learning opportunities. And our invitation to just stick with it, even when it is rough. And as I reflect on this past year, I can't help but notice, this milestone really aligns well with the summer solstice, which is a sacred turning point in the seasonal cycle and the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. I can't help also but to think about how all the sacred places that we have visited over our lifetime have just lightened up with joy and light and cosmic wonder on this big turning point. Think Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde and Stonehenge and Teotihuacan and Tikal. How the masters of that time, they would track the travel of the sun over the earth through their monuments. Oh, how amazing it must be, the celebrations of the solstices on these sacred sites, because I'm sure many pilgrimages are made to them every year. The solstice reminds us that the light reaches its fullest expression before it begins to go gradually again and return within, deep inward journey. There's something so beautiful and deeply symbolic about that. And then in the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, this is a pivotal time for recognizing all your internal shedding, deeper spiritual work that has been activated as you sit quietly going within. And we often think that growth is going for more, learning more, achieving more, reaching higher. But in nature, we're reminded that every season that has an expansion is also followed by a season of integration and perhaps of a decrease. The light reaches its peak, we celebrate that climax, we look back and we can see how much has externally been created through the most yang part of the wheel. And then we absorb that, what we have learned, and we carry that wisdom forward in all the little ways that we show up in life. So let's mutually take time to celebrate all these sweet accomplishments we have poured out into the world. And they don't have to be huge and with fireworks and loud whistles. They can simply be in the little ways we have shown up in life with forgiveness towards ourselves and others, or whatever it is that's calling you forward, and trusting what is unfolding next. And on that note, I've also been quietly nurturing another creative dream that I want to invite you to. Some of you already know that I've been working on a homemade devotional music project, and it's called the Baby Cave Series album. Well, it has slowly been taking shape, and I started putting all the tracks in it in my SoundCloud, and that's a new platform for me. So I just started doing that and recently exploring it. And I also have put some of my music in my website's music page because for some people, SoundCloud is not as accessible. And little by little, song by song, these creations are finding their way into the world, and it brings us so much joy. You know, they're not perfect from a professional standpoint, but they're heartfelt and they're very deeply personal. Some of those lyrics I have built with my son as well, like asking him for ideas and how we should put it together. We recently made a song for Dada, and it's really cute, and it has a lot of storyline from our everyday living. And everything in there continues to remind me that these meaningful things, they're not about some gold standard, but we can build them one little step at a time and in the most heartfelt ways that we can, like made from home with love. So if you're feeling a quiet call to create, a nudge from your soul to write, sing, paint, or express the artistic part of your soul, let this be your reminder that you do not need to have it figured out yet in order to begin your dreams. You can learn and you can grow as you go, and you can evolve publicly and imperfectly too. Sometimes these meaningful creations are born right from the middle of everyday life living and just from ordinary equipment that is right under our noses. When life gives you lemons and life gives you GarageBand, then make some homemade lemonade and music. You can find us on SoundCloud as MC Mama Bird and on my website, healtruelove.com/music. I will put these in the description so that if you want to be reminded about them later, you can go there and access them. Okay, then, let's do a little bit of numerology and astrology. As you know, I love weaving these in our monthly podcasts so that we can get some guidance as we ripen into the season. And right now, even though it's the end of June, and I wish this had gone out a little earlier so that you could take advantage of it more in the month of June, it is going to come out with the opportunity for us to look back, contemplate, reminisce, and see how this has applied for you in your month of June so far. So June has the vibration of 7, since we are in a universal year of 1, plus the vibration of the 6 in June. 6 plus 1 gives us 7 for the overall frequency of the month. So let's talk about the 7. What is this number all about? 7 is such a special and divine number. It is the number of spiritual study. It is the activation of our wisdom through the use of our intellect. It's all about spiritual focus, contemplation, discernment, inner wisdom, and reflection. So in this month, we are being called to refine, And what a great time to do so when we also have the solstices taking us through a shift, refining what we have collected so far. These turning points are important for the ancients. They didn't have anybody tracking time for them. They did it all on their own by tracking the cosmos, the sky, cosmic bodies, and their sacred temples denote that. We too can sync with these archaic shifts by contemplating on our lives through these seasons. The 7 is encouraging us to pause long enough to hear the deeper voice within. This is a perfect time for quiet listening, giving ourselves the permission to give birth to our truest desires. Journaling, meditation, nature walks, and tuning ourselves as a wholesome, inseparable body, mind, emotional, spirit body. The 7, with its shape like a gardening tool, like a rake almost, that digs into the soil, is asking us to go within deeper. Utilize it as a tool to dig in to find your ultimate truth, knowing that you're supported and guided, but always. Raking gently off the fear so that we can get with courage to our activation of our deeper soul purposes. Rather than rushing towards the next goal, the 7 is saying and asking, what have you learned? What difficulties have transformed into wisdom? What have you graduated from? And what is no longer you? What is life teaching you now and still? Embrace where the work is still at in letting go, maybe by just letting go a little bit more. What wisdom wants to be integrated before the next chapter begins? Remember to close it out good before the next voyage begins. Also, the 7 says, pay attention to not isolating yourself too much, becoming overly judgmental about others simply because they aren't aligning to your causes. Don't get too hypersensitive about things since you are in a more heightened awareness now. Others have the right to their process too. But if things are too constrictive in a particular place, simply move away somewhere else where you can be free and unfurl your wings. And the 7 also warns us about skepticism. We are more than just our 5 senses. Believe, and then you shall see. Activate your divine trust. In sum, the 7 is about bridging the physical with the divine. It is calling us not to lose our spiritual connection. The 7 vibration enhances our connection to spirit through intuition and our soul callings, whatever they are for you. You may feel more hungry for truth and understanding why things are the way they are this month. This is a great time for learning and asking why. This is a time to raise your consciousness. What a great timing this has been with our retreat. My teacher nailed it with that one. The 7 reminds us that we are souls with angelic qualities as visitors on earth with a divine mission, that we must activate our inner strength with purity and truth and self-healing, roundedness and groundedness in order to not get pulled into the matrix and the dramas of uncleansed minds and egos and distractions. Remember to use the endowments of the ego and the mind properly, just like learning how to use an amazing new technology or modern car. Know who you truly are. The mystical, the spiritual is what will ultimately fulfill you this month. This is the perfect time to reconnect with your higher self and engage in daily practices for doing so in order to obtain the purest form of guidance straight from within. Spend time alone, but do not completely disengage from it all. Find the inner balance compass towards health and happiness within and throughout. So let's ask ourselves, what do we need now? Use this quiet inner time to listen to your truest needs. Your needs are also Gaia's needs. And as for me, I have been hearing the word community for quite some time. That has been one of my biggest needs. The 7 reminds us that our version of perfection isn't anywhere but in the mind. Perhaps consider that even within this imperfection of reality, there is still perfection. After all, many of us did not come down here for a vacation. We came here to work, learn, grow, evolve, heal, self-heal, heal others, contribute to the elevation of humanity and the uplift of peace on earth. This is not easy work. It's messy, and it requires lots of grounding, clarity, and determination. So enjoy this sabbatical from life in June's quiet 7 time. Enjoy your studies on mysticism, spirituality, and artist endeavors. Withdraw from the eye of the hurricane and do the things that your higher self is calling you forwards to. Refine what you have been gleaning this year so far. Our intuition is so powerful right now. Take time to listen and follow it. Activate upon it. Consider listening and doing nothing, and then observing what happens and what naturally is attracted to you, and you attract towards your center. At the same time, what a beautiful combination we have while entering Cancer season, a season that calls us back to the heart. Cancer invites us home to our families, home to our roots, home to our emotions as powerful conduits and teachers that should not be avoided and ignored or pushed under the rug. Home to the places within ourselves that need nurturing, compassion, and care. Cancer reminds us that softness is not weakness. Tenderness is not weakness either. And neither is rest. Sometimes caring for ourselves tenderly, softly, is one of the most spiritual things we can do. And what a perfect time also that we just had Father's Day during Cancer in order to soften the heart and the masculinity versions that we have absorbed through lifetimes. To all you papas out there, happy Father's Day, a little belated. And to my beloved soulmate companion husband, thank you. Thank you for being such a strong center so that I can activate my work without stress and hurry. Thank you for being part of this podcast by nurturing our family in all the ways that you do. Cancer is all about heightened sensitivity. You know, I'm going to tell you a secret. Cancer is my favorite sign, which is also part of the 7 in this month. We may get double sensitivity here, so nurture yourself with baths, just like Cancer loves the water, nourishing teas, forest bathing, by taking a walk in nature. Remember, you too are a gift to the nature and the trees as you bring your energy and your presence with your body. Hug a tree, love on a plant that captures your eyes. Tell her how beautiful that flower is. From powerful emotions to the secretive nature of Cancer, these are both challenges and gifts. We will be feeling a lot more right now and processing it all more inwardly than with others. Yet your feelings and intuition are not wrong. They simply need to be cocooned and allowed, because all has a purpose, and our emotions certainly do. So give them a voice. And remember, Cancer will be rolling into July as well. Cancer says our big love is for helping others, and that our heart will guide our decisions. Cancer also warns us not to retreat in doubt and fear, but to use its gifts as brilliant wisdom. Remember, every sign has a purpose, and every sign has deep wisdom to shed in our evolution as we travel the journey around the sun, So build one upon the last and the one before that. And then as you come forward into the next one, see it as climbing a ladder of evolution within and throughout as we go in our journey around the sun. Cancer says, be brave to show your sensitivity to the world. That fear will destroy our relationships, and to bear our true selves and souls, for that is our truest gift to this earthly experience, right here, right now. Speak your truth. And this is so highly attuned to the teachings from Ash through the Goddess Retreat. The Goddess is not meant to be quiet, following orders, and being passive or submissive. She knows she is a queen, the vortex and the center all at once, and that her wisdom is to be loud and clear and unafraid. And this reminds me of a verse that I'm going to share with you from my inner child rap that I'm working on right now. And it goes like this. The deeper the wound, the stronger the ego. Dig in, give it a voice, a microphone, and a tuxedo. It's my inner child talking like the ugly duckling, but it's a gift to heal, radiant, and soon chuckling. As my numerology teacher so beautifully puts in her books, coming out of your shell and shining love on others is required for any successful relationship or career for Cancer. As we gently close this chapter, we also find ourselves standing at another threshold of a new month in July. June's 7 vibration invites us inward to reflect, study, listen, and integrate. It reminded us that growth isn't only found in doing, but also in pausing long enough to hear the wisdom that has already taken root. As we move into July, we will start to feel the energy of the Magnificent Eight, a number that will invite us to embody what we've learned so far this year. If 7 is the quiet temple of reflection and retreat, 8 is asking us to bring that wisdom into the world with confidence, with integrity, grounded leadership, and purposeful action. We'll explore the beautiful energy of the 8 in much greater depth in our next episodes. Towards the end of July, we'll start moving into the gifts of Leo season, and we'll cover that in the next episodes and see how all these energies come together to support us in expressing that light from within with courage and authenticity, just like that lion would want us to do. For now, simply notice what has shifted within you over these past weeks. Let's celebrate our growth, honor your journey. Let's give ourselves a very big, loving, sweet hug. And remember that you're deeply cared for and loved here and from the beyond. Trust that the seeds you've been quietly tending are preparing to bloom. Let's remember together that the miracles do abound and that they are born from when our perspectives shift. There is a new earth forming, one with the purest form of love that doesn't demand or expect something back. In it, there are no rules because every soul has a clear understanding of its purpose and that we are all one and that everything stems from love and kindness. So never stop dreaming. It is the hook that keeps us on our evolutionary path. And if these last 2 episodes have been inspiring for you, for your travels, know that if we did it, you can too. If we have been able to manifest these strips, I know you can do it. And before we close today, I'd love to leave you with 3 rounds of deep belly breaths together. So wherever you are today, let's inhale and feel this gift from creation. Inhaling together, expanding the ribs, lifting the heart, and then slowing it down on the exhale with trust, divine timing in your own unfolding. Again, inhaling deep feel it. Feel your breath. Feel that gift of prana moving through your veins. And exhaling, releasing, softening those shoulders. And one last time, inhaling, breathing in gratitude, and exhaling, surrender and trust. And with that little calming, here are some journal reflection prompts that you can take with you as you integrate these episodes. Take a few moments this week and ask yourself, how far have I come since the last December solstice? Take inventory, celebrate. What has grown? What have you learned? What challenges have strengthened you into a wise woman or man? What are you ready to celebrate? And how can you celebrate in health? What wisdom do you want to carry into the next season as we approach the December solstice, one day at a time? Allow yourself to acknowledge your growth. Allow yourself to celebrate. Allow yourself to see the light that has emerged through your journey. You are beautiful just the way that you are and who you are becoming. Thank you so much for being here as I celebrate all of this with you in the 1 year of this podcast. I know from the depth of my being that this community is a huge part of my own sacred journey. Thank you for walking together and beside me, not only through England, but through everything we've been through so far. Grief, healing, motherhood, hard days, good moments of celebration, spiritual study, creative expression, and all the ordinary stories and moments in between. Thank you for listening, growing, doing your own healing work, and evolving together alongside each other. And until next time, may you remember that you are guided, funded, supported, needed, important. You are so deeply loved. Keep blooming exactly as you are and who you are becoming. With love from all of us here at home, MC Mama Bird and the flock. Namaste. Till the next one. Thank you for listening to the Empowered Soul podcast. If this episode touched your heart, I'd love for you to follow the show and share with someone you love. Stay connected with us on Instagram, explore our website and blog, visit our YouTube channel, and discover more soulful creations here. healtruelove.com/links. Until next time, keep blooming exactly as you are and who you are becoming.